In this episode of Drinking Made Easy, we visit the city by the bay. We prove that it's not a good idea to walk on kegs. We have 106 proof medicinal wine and do an 80 proof keg stand. It's Drinking Made Easy, San Francisco. I'm Zane Lamprey. My job is to drink. I'm traveling the country with my buddies Mark Ryan and Steve McKenna as we explore the local drinking cultures, customs, and cocktails. Along the way, we'll soak in the local flavor in an effort to make drinking easy. The only thing that starts off the morning better than coffee is Irish coffee. So we headed to Buena Vista Cafe, where they serve a ridiculous amount of coffee spiked with Irish whiskey.
Approximately the house a day and night makes about 1,800 a day.
1,800 of those. And you guys have been making them since what year?
1952.
Were they instantly popular?
Yes, they were.
Wow.
And the reason why is you got the right climate. You got the fog, the wind, cold, and it's summertime when it's like that.
The coldest winter I ever spent was a summer in San Francisco. Mark Twain.
Buena Vista's Irish coffee is made with coffee, Irish whiskey, 2 lumps of sugar, and cream.
You want to fill up the glass with hot water because the hotter the glass is when you make the drink, the longer it stays warm. It's the same principle as when you're using like a cold glass of beer.
Like you don't want to crack the glass too?
No, you want to keep the drink as warm as possible for as long as possible.
Okay.
So you start off with the boiling water. And we use two sugar cubes, okay, which is equal to about a teaspoon and a half.
Okay.
About 3.5 ounces of coffee. And then you got to stir up the sugar, okay?
Okay. How many of these would you say that you've made?
Oh, myself personally, I probably made over 2.5 million of them. Just whipped up just enough so it'll float on top. You don't want it to be really thick. You don't want it to be too thin. You want to be able to have the coffee pass through the cream when you sip it.
I heard someone ask for a stir, and they got asked to leave.
Right. Yes. No, the idea is you want to sip the hot coffee through the cold cream. That's what you want to do. Not bad.
That's tasty. How much Irish whiskey do you sell then?
Well, we average about 1,800 of these a day. Year-round.
1,800 of these?
A day, yes.
You sell more of this than Ireland?
We sell more Irish whiskey in this bar than any other bar in the United States.
Wow. That's why you make them so quickly.
That's right, yeah. And so that's approximately 50, 55 bottles of Irish whiskey.
A day?
A day.
And this is your staple drink. I mean,
about 85% of our drinks are Irish.
85% is this exact drink?
Exactly.
Okay, so the first step is to get the glasses hot.
Now, Zane smells a challenge.
Then we're going to pour them out, and then we're going to pour the coffee in.
But can he compete against a guy who's made over 2 million of these drinks?
Go.
Larry is taking a sweet time, but he's already way ahead of Lamprey. Lamprey doesn't even out his glasses and goes right to the whiskey.
I'll even stir it twice just to slow it down a little bit for you. Make it a little closer.
A little good-humored trash talking from Larry, Lamprey decides to skip another step and not pulse the blender.
Time.
Lamprey finishes first, but he skipped 2 steps and made a mess.
Okay.
Larry is the winner.
Thank you for your time. I know you're busy, and I have stuff to spill on me, so I should probably get going. Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome.
Our next morning stop is at the top of the Mark to have another breakfast treat, the martini.
The martini was invented
in San Francisco. An Italian immigrant way back in the day actually invented the martini. He was a bartender.
Obviously, these days, you have hundreds of kinds of martinis. Even you guys make hundreds of kinds of martinis.
We have 100 martinis.
But what is the original martini?
The original martini is actually made with gin and dry vermouth. Depending on how dry somebody would like it, is the amount of vermouth you'd put in the gin.
Isn't it weird that you call something liquid dry?
What's even more interesting is they call it dry because it's not sweet. Then if you get a sweet vermouth, we don't call it wet.
No.
We call it sweet.
The top of the Mark martini is made with gin, dry vermouth, and 3 olives.
So why don't we use a local gin? We've got 209 right here. We do a 4 count. with a spout. It'd be a
1,
6
2, 3, 4.
Yep, perfect.
Do I shake
now
it?
we need the dry vermouth.
Okay, where's the dry vermouth? So this is extra dry vermouth. And what is vermouth?
It's often called a fortified wine.
A fortified wine. And how much of this fortified wine? It depends how dry I want it. And then I sort of spin it like that. And then I
Pour it up.
pour it out. And so that has a dry amount of vermouth in it.
You can strain the gin into it because you don't want any of the ice. That's all we need.
Like that?
Perfect. All we need is some olives. There's the perfect martini.
Now, isn't a dry gin martini just kind of like just gin? I don't know how much vermouth changed the
Well, what
flavor
the
of the
vermouth
gin.
does is it kind of bites you back. It's so dry.
It is biting me
So
back.
you feel it on your palate more than the actual taste.
Yeah.
You feel it more than you taste it.
This is a very sophisticated drink.
It is.
You want to try this? Let's take a sip of it.
Exquisite.
Next up is the Negroni, which is made with bourbon, Campari, sweet vermouth, and a cherry.
Now, how much goes in?
4 count.
My 4 count or a civilized 4 count?
Well, consider the size of the
Consider the
glass.
size of the glass. Got it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Add how much of this?
A 1 count. Great.
1, 2. Is that enough?
That's good. That's
Okay.
good. You stir it. So,
Like this?
yes.
Oh, like that.
Yeah.
Then the pour,
From the color, I'd say that's a perfect Negroni.
Yes.
Throw a cherry in there.
then the drink.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I'm pretty good at it.
It's a very traditional old cocktail, so there's a lot of the older crowd that drinks this, but mainly ladies.
Thank you, Mark. Top of the mark to you. Thank you. Oh, you know, gotta go to this thing. Oh, thank you.
Our next stop is Red's Place, the oldest bar in Chinatown, to see if I'm man enough to handle their medicinal wine.
This is a Chinese spirit that is made with herbs.
Yeah.
Chinese herbs. And it's a secret because I can't read that.
These are Chinese.
Is that Mandarin?
Cantonese.
Oh, I can only read Mandarin. This is from Hong Kong, and it's made from special secret herbs. You can only have it if you come to Red's Place in San Francisco. It's, oh, is it strong?
Yeah.
48% by volume. And how do we drink this? Out of what?
Straight up.
Straight up?
Yes.
You want to do one?
I take this one.
Oh, wow. You take the bigger one. Young boy.
Yes. Good.
Actually, that was really good.
Next stop is Mao Tain. This special glass bottle is for honored guests, so I'll be drinking out of the other bottle.
53% by volume.
Yeah.
It's 106 proof.
Yes.
All right. Young boy.
Good boy. Different taste, huh?
It sort of tastes like a little bit like a wheat,
Yeah.
but sweet. Mutai Gingben is made from local wheat and water, brewed and stored elaborately. They must do some sort of something ornate with it. It is aromatic in flavor, mild, mellow, and pleasant in aftertaste. Yeah, it's very pleasant. This is dangerous.
Yeah.
And to wash it down, fresh fortune cookies.
Sure.
Okay,
I take the chocolate.
taking a chocolate?
Yeah.
I will take a vanilla. Opportunity is knocking at your door. Answer it. Yes.
Need any more fortune cookies?
Yes. These are amazing.
Coming up on Drinking Made Easy, beer with a legend.
I used to wake up at night and think, I own a brewery.
We're in San Francisco to meet the man who started the craft beer movement.
This is the home of craft brewing. As per the Wall Street Journal,
I saw
When
that.
they were talking about the craft brewing movement, it was
They
probably...
credited Anchor and New Albion. New Albion was the first new little brewery.
And what was this one, the first?
Well, the first older brewery to take on the new look of the craft brewing. There's a Humming Ale. And there's a Anchor Steam, which is the beer that started it all. It was called Anchor in 1896. It struggled along like hundreds and hundreds of breweries. Once upon a time, breweries were small, and they were everywhere.
Okay.
Anchor was just one of many. And it had a struggle and struggle and struggle, and it drifted down and down and down. And when I came along, I began to realize that the beer was not being made well by modern standards. And so I realized we got to focus on the beer.
Right.
And I would say that if you had to pinpoint a moment when the craft brewing movement started, that it would be when we realized we have to make better beer. And I said, let's go back to the most traditional brewing possible. Just pure malt, pure hops, pure water, and temperature control so that we will be in charge, in a modern sense, of a very old-fashioned process,
Right.
which is simple and pure. And that's what I would call the birth of the craft brewing movement. It was probably about 1971 that it was what it is today.
I'm not very good at sipping. How did San Francisco become reintroduced to Anchor Steam?
We started bottling in 1971. That was a big deal. Bottled beer was the one place where unusual beers, imported beers, would be found.
Got it.
So for us to bottle meant we found an audience.
This is the best example that I've seen of here's how beer is made.
This is the cooking part
Okay.
of brewing.
The first stop is the mash tun, where the malted barley is mixed with hot water.
We grind the malt with a mill. Malting is just sprouting of the grain
Right.
and then carefully drying it.
Okay.
We mix that with warm water. We stir. The enzymes are beginning to act.
It's sort of like cereal and...
It just looks like oatmeal, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. I mean, it's delicious, really. So in about an hour and a half, we convert 6,000 pounds of malted barley into sugar and water.
Next up is the lauter tun, where the sweet liquid is filtered.
Once we start to draw the liquid out,
Okay.
in the next vessel, which is the lauter tun, liquid will trickle down like making coffee with a filter, and that's worked.
The bottom is flat and it's perforated.
Okay.
It's a screen. So it's holding the grain back, but allowing the liquid to run down through.
So the existing grain...
Is a filter for the liquid.
And so this is the wort right here.
Yep.
This is just
Sugar and flavor and
sugary
water.
Sugary water. Sugary malty water.
Yep, that is boiled in the third copper vessel, the brew kettle,
Okay.
with hops.
Next is the brew kettle, where dried hops are added.
And these are picked in the field, dried gently, and then pressed. If you squeeze it between your fingers real hard, just a
Yeah.
little bit, it'll get sticky. Feel it? Now smell your finger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're getting the hop aroma. It's concentrating.
Okay.
It's sterilizing. It's extracting the flavor and the aroma from the hops.
So this is called the what?
Brew kettle.
Brew kettle.
In England, they would call this the copper for obvious reasons. Then we separate the hops out down below, and the wort, now boiling hot, goes into a fourth vessel.
So the wort will go in here,
Okay.
and it will settle down over for a few minutes,
Okay.
and then it will be drawn off and cooled here in equipment that's sterilized
Okay.
and put into the fermenter here.
The last step is the fermenter, where the yeast is added to create alcohol and CO2.
Isn't that beautiful?
And then how long will it sit in here for?
About 3 days.
Okay. Now you've given the yeast a sweet sugary liquid,
yeah, it's
and
very
now
happy.
it just goes to town, right? And then they reproduce?
Oh yeah, they multiply fivefold. Every one yeast cell turns into 5 more.
If we could, we would charge you to come and drink it right out of the tank, because
Right.
it'll never be any better.
It's tasty.
I think
that
it's
it as well?
yeah, it's my summer beer. You took mine.
Oh, that was, what do you? Sorry. I was excited. I was full of enthusiasm.
Yeah, I can
you
tell.
See?
They don't serve alcohol at Alcatraz, so we headed to a different island off the coast of San Francisco. Forbes Island is a floating restaurant located off Pier 39 at Fisherman's Wharf.
This is a 700-ton vessel that is made to look like an island.
Look like an island, yeah.
Captain Forbes Cadeau is the guy who picks up people
At the dock.
and then brings them out here.
Uh-huh.
And this used to be his house.
That
and
was his
now,
home, yeah,
Now
in
it's
Sicily.
a restaurant. He drove it here. He drove this island here.
Mm-hmm.
And the rocks on the outside are real rocks.
Real rocks, 700 ton altogether. The island weighs 700 tons.
So what kind of ship was this?
It was not a ship initially, it was a barge.
Oh, it was a barge.
And
so
then
he
there
built
was-
off of it.
Yes.
All right, so you make some island cocktails, but these are floating island cocktails. And you're gonna teach me how to make these. What classifies this as an island cocktail?
Take 2 third bottles from the left.
I'm gonna get a more steady stance here.
The floating island cocktail is made with rum, orange juice, grenadine, and 99 bananas schnapps.
This is 99% proof, called 99 bananas.
Holy moly, what do I do with this?
Float.
I'm not a good floater. I feel like it needs an umbrella and a strawberry.
That's the island cocktail.
Happy. This is a tropical
Tropical drink.
drink.
We probably should have had lunch at Forbes Island, but instead, we went to eat among the birds at Pier 45.
We're at Pier 45 in San Francisco. That's Alcatraz. You look like someone that would probably have been a member there. The eating challenge today is bread bowl, sourdough bread bowl filled with clam chowder. We're gonna do these bread balls. So you gotta finish the soup and the bread bowl. Put it together. I don't want you cheating. You have a tendency to cheat.
I'm just trying to gain any competitive edge I can against a human garbage can.
Okay. All right, go.
Start eating?
Lamprey and McKenna will see who can be the first to power through their sourdough bread bowl filled with New England clam chowder.
Hot cook. Clam chowder. Sourdough originated during the gold rush of 1849.
Where?
Here.
Really?
Yeah, some guy had like bread in a sock or something, and that turned into dough. You winning?
My mouth is hurting.
Yeah.
Wow. You gotta have the food.
McKenna has not won a food challenge yet, but he's not taking this one lightly.
You are killing me. What?
I almost choked.
Lamprey and McKenna have gained a combined 34 pounds on their tour of the U.S. Lamprey can't seem to catch McKenna. Oh, it looks like McKenna has hit the wall.
How are you doing this?
Dude, we're even right now.
Huh?
I'll show you the leg.
McKenna can only watch as Lamprey finishes the last of his bread bowl and wins another eating challenge.
I won.
Oh, this is as close as I've ever come.
That was pretty close. You scared me. I got you to talk, because when you talk, you won't eat.
I feel so dejected.
Do you know what that means?
No.
Coming up on Drinking Made Easy, the Fernet Keg Stand. We're in San Francisco, where Mark has ventured off to Distillery 209 to learn about gin.
What is gin?
All gins start as a vodka, or as I like to say, that it's actually the first flavored vodka. Distillery 209 gin is lighter in juniper and has a lot of citrus and spice notes. And one of the great citruses that we use is bergamot orange. And this is the orange peel, comes from Calabria in southern Italy. These are cardamom pods. These come from Guatemala. Cardamom is actually in the ginger family, so it's got some kind of warm, spicy components. This is cassia bark. This is closely related to cinnamon, comes from South Asia. These are juniper berries, and they come from Italy. This is what makes gin gin. And they're very sweet, and they have that wonderful classic gin flavor. Technically, by law, you have to be predominantly flavored with juniper. Otherwise, you're just a flavored vodka.
What is this ingredient right here?
Well, these are coriander seeds. And coriander, you may or may not know, is the seed of the cilantro plant. If you were to not just harvest the leaves, but wait till the seed actually formed on the plant, you'd get coriander. This is dried lemon peel. We wanted to have a big citrus note in the 209. All these things actually go into the large still together. They'll sit overnight and they'll soak in the alcohol and the water. This is a glass version of the big copper pot still. So what I've got in here are some bergamot orange peels, a little of that gray neutral spirit, and some water.
And what's happening is the alcohol is evaporating out of the water and taking all those wonderful flavors associated with the peels up into the top here.
It's clear, so we can see the alcohol.
You can see it coming out of a vapor state and back into a liquid.
And this is your copper cool.
Yeah, there's some water running through here to help cool it down. And we collect the gin or whatever we're creating down below.
That's really good. Thank you, Arnie.
My pleasure.
While Mark was learning about local booze, we went to Bullet to learn about booze that's not made anywhere near San Francisco.
Not only do you have Fernet Branca, which is not very popular in the U.S.
We are the first bar in the world, as we're told, to have Fernet on tap.
And it's not like it's a wine or something.
It is a digestive or an aperitif.
I think they say digestive.
Digestif, made of a secret family recipe.
Meaning what?
Keeps you regular.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You're supposed to have it before or after dinner?
After. Traditionally, it was served.
Digestive is after
dinner.
So Fernet is, what proof is that? That's like a liqueur?
Fernet's 80 proof. It's 40% alcohol.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like the same.
It's the same as like a standard vodka.
Is it the same as
Maker's? Is a little bit stronger. Maker's is a 45%. So Maker's is a 90 proof.
Wow, on tap.
On tap. Well, you have to serve it in San Francisco.
But why? Why is it so big?
Apparently Fernet marketed themselves to San Francisco really well.
They picked a city.
They picked a city. They came to it. They brought a lot of Fernet here.
You can have it as a shot. People have it as a shot.
Most people come into the bar, order a shot of Fernet.
Cheers. Cheers. You know, people might say that it's similar to Jägermeister, but it's a little lighter, but also a little bit more herbaceous.
You can make cocktails out of it.
What's your cocktail?
It's the San Franciscan.
The San Franciscan is made with bourbon, Fernet Branca, orange bitters, and pear brandy.
2 shots or 1?
That's about 2 ounces. And you want to just do a splash of Fernet. Use it like a bitters, like you would in Manhattan. So just a
splash.
Quick little.
That was nothing but a splash.
This is Calvados. This is an aged pear brandy. A little bit of simple syrup, a little bit of sugar.
Simple.
A little bit of simple syrup, just to give it a touch of
flavor. We'll do.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I survived.
You got something here.
Yeah, no. It's Fernet.
It's time for the six-pack challenge.
We're racing from here to Pleplius on these kegs.
Backwards?
Backwards.
And we gotta get up. We gotta a fist first, then we go.
Shh. You look so angry with your biker beard.
Mark,
get your foot down.
Get set, go.
Lamprey and McKenna start off neck and neck, but McKenna quickly starts to pull away. Lamprey can't seem to get his rhythm. Oh, and McKenna falls off his keg. Lamprey's slow and steady approach makes him look like an old man. McKenna is miles ahead of Lamprey, but he seems to be panicking. Lamprey actually catches up to McKenna and pulls ahead.
Oh.
McKenna looks like he's gonna win this one, and McKenna wins as Lamprey throws in the towel.
For more videos and cocktail recipes, go to drinkingmadeeasy.com.